What if happiness isn't the result of success, but the key to achieving it? In The Happiness Advantage, Shawn Achor reveals that positivity is more than just a state of mind. It's a competitive advantage. This is the story of how I applied Achor's principles to rewire my mindset, embrace optimism, and unlock new levels of performance and satisfaction. With each practice I adopted, I began to see how small shifts in perspective could lead to profound and lasting changes, proving that happiness is not just an emotional state, but a practical strategy for success. Achor begins by challenging the conventional belief that success leads to happiness. Instead, he argues that happiness fuels success. He introduces the concept of the happiness advantage, the performance boost that comes from cultivating a positive mindset. When I first encountered this idea, it felt counterintuitive. I had always believed that achieving goals would bring happiness. But as I reflected on Achor's research, I realized that happiness isn't a reward, it's a tool. I started small, incorporating gratitude exercises and positive affirmations into my daily routine. These practices, though simple, began to shift my perspective, making the challenges I faced feel less daunting and more like opportunities to grow. As my mindset grew more positive, I noticed tangible changes. I was more focused, creative, and resilient. Challenges felt less overwhelming, and opportunities seemed more abundant. My interactions with others became more meaningful, as positivity made me a better collaborator and communicator. Achor's lesson taught me that happiness is not a destination. It's a foundation for success. By prioritizing joy and optimism, I unlocked a wellspring of energy and motivation that carried me forward in every area of my life. Achor introduces a powerful metaphor. The fulcrum represents our mindset, and the lever represents the effort we exert. By adjusting the fulcrum, our perspective, we can amplify the impact of our efforts. I began applying this principle by reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. For example, instead of dreading difficult tasks, I saw them as chances to develop new skills. This shift in perspective made me more enthusiastic and productive. I also started celebrating small victories, which reinforced my positive outlook and encouraged me to tackle even bigger challenges. The more I practiced this, the more I realized the power of perception. By adjusting my mental fulcrum, I could change how I experienced the world. Tasks that once felt overwhelming became manageable, and successes, no matter how small, felt deeply rewarding. Achor's metaphor reminded me that success is not just about working harder, but about thinking smarter. By aligning my mindset with my goals, I made every effort more effective and impactful. The Tetris effect refers to our brain's tendency to focus on patterns we frequently encounter. Achor explains that by consciously focusing on positive patterns, we can train our minds to see opportunities instead of obstacles. I started practicing this by keeping a daily gratitude journal. Each evening, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for and 3 positive moments from the day. At first, it felt like a small exercise, but over time, it transformed how I viewed my experiences. I began noticing silver linings in difficult situations, appreciating the small joys of everyday life, and focusing on what was going well rather than what was going wrong. This practice didn't just make me happier, it made me more effective. I became better at problem solving and more resilient in the face of setbacks. For instance, during a particularly stressful project, I trained myself to focus on what progress I had made rather than the obstacles ahead. Achor's lesson taught me that what we focus on shapes our reality. By training my mind to see the good, I created a more optimistic and productive outlook that carried over into every aspect of my life. In this chapter, Achor explores how adversity can become a springboard for growth. He introduces the concept of falling up, using setbacks as opportunities to build resilience and find new paths to success. I began reflecting on past challenges and identifying the lessons they had taught me. Instead of dwelling on failures, I asked myself, what did I learn from this? And how can I use this experience to grow? This mindset shift allowed me to approach difficulties with curiosity and determination, transforming moments of despair into catalysts for personal growth. One particular moment stood out. After a major career setback, I chose to view it as an opportunity to realign my goals and explore new possibilities. This change in perspective not only helped me recover, but also led to unexpected opportunities. For example, I found myself pursuing a passion project that ultimately opened doors I hadn't even considered before. Achor's insight reminded me that every fall holds the potential for a higher rise, and that resilience is built by embracing challenges rather than avoiding them. Achor introduces the Zorro Circle, a strategy for regaining control during overwhelming situations. By focusing on small, manageable steps, we can gradually expand our circle of influence and tackle larger challenges. I began using this approach in my own life, breaking down big goals into smaller, achievable tasks. For instance, when faced with a daunting project, I started with a single, actionable step. Completing that step gave me the confidence to take on the next one, and so on. This incremental approach not only reduced my stress, but also gave me a clear roadmap for progress. This method not only made challenges more manageable, but also boosted my confidence and momentum. As I built on each small success, I found myself capable of achieving far more than I had initially imagined. Achor's Zorro Circle taught me that even the largest obstacles can be overcome by starting small and building gradually. It became a strategy one relied on repeatedly, helping me turn overwhelming situations into opportunities for steady progress. Achor explains that willpower alone is not enough to sustain positive habits. Instead, he advocates for the 20-second rule, making it easier to start good habits and harder to continue bad ones by adjusting the time or effort required. I applied this principle by setting up my environment for success. For example, I placed my workout clothes next to my bed so I could change into them easily in the morning. I also moved unhealthy snacks out of reach and replaced them with healthier options. Similarly, I reduced the effort needed to start my daily journaling habit by keeping a notebook and pen on my desk, ready to use. These small adjustments removed barriers to positive habits and added friction to negative ones. Over time, these changes became ingrained, and my habits felt effortless. The 20-second rule not only helped me sustain healthy behaviors, but also made it easier to introduce new ones. Achor's lesson taught me that small tweaks to our environment can have a profound impact on our behavior, proving that lasting change doesn't have to be difficult. It just has to be intentional. Achor concludes with the importance of social connections. He argues that relationships are a critical source of happiness and resilience. By investing in our social network, we create a support system that helps us thrive. I began prioritizing quality time with friends and family, reaching out to strengthen bonds and offer support. I also sought out new connections by joining communities that aligned with my interests and values. These interactions enriched my life and provided a sense of belonging. I learned that even small gestures, like checking in on a friend or expressing gratitude, could deepen relationships and foster mutual support. This focus on social investment not only boosted my happiness, but also enhanced my performance. Collaborating with others and sharing experiences created opportunities for mutual growth. When I leaned on my social network during challenges, I found that I could handle adversity with greater ease and confidence. Achor's insight reminded me that success is not a solo journey. It's built on the strength of our connections and the support we both give and receive. The happiness advantage taught me that happiness is not a byproduct of success, but a prerequisite for it. By cultivating positivity, reframing challenges, and investing in relationships, I unlocked new levels of performance and fulfillment. Each principle became a tool I could use to approach life with greater optimism and resilience. What would change if you embraced happiness as your greatest advantage? Remember, the path to success begins with a single, intentional step toward joy. By choosing happiness, we don't just transform our lives. We create a ripple effect that can inspire those around us to do the same.